Welcome, seeker of truth. Have you ever felt it? That strange sensation, as if your thoughts weren't entirely your own, as if invisible fingers gently nudge you toward decisions, beliefs, entire worldviews. What if I told you this isn't paranoia, but a trace of something real, something vast, something ancient, a force that has steered civilization, whispered in the minds of prophets and tyrants alike, and now might be speaking to you. This is not fiction. This is not philosophy. This is the beginning of uncovering the greatest one ever declared. The war for your soul. Read carefully. Nothing will seem the same afterwards. There are moments in history that feel less like progress and more like choreography. A strange symphony. Multiple civilizations on different continents discovering similar concepts at once. Agriculture, writing, pyramids, sacrifice. Cultures that had never seen each other suddenly building towards the same scene. Why? Historians speak of coincidence, shared themes like ours. But what if the explanation lies deeper, not in the minds of men, but in something that connects them? An intelligence, old as time, stretching across space and consciousness. Not a god, not an alien, something between. It doesn't control directly. That would be too obvious. No, it whispers. It pushes. Through intuition, through dreams, through collective emotions that rise like a tide. Empires rise not just by sword or gold, but by unseen permission. When it wants a people to grow, they feel inspired. They dream larger. When it wants them to fall, rot grows in their spirit. Dissent, confusion, apathy. This intelligence does not speak in words. It pulses. It echoes. It infects. Children sense it first. They draw the same symbols, spirals, eyes, stars. Across cultures, across eras. Why do they dream of blood? Great fires from the sky. Why do they speak of watchers, of invisible friends, of voices that tell them secrets? We dismiss this as imagination, but perhaps imagination is the very door through which it enters. Have you noticed the repeating loops? Civilizations rise, reach a peak, and fall in madness and fire. Then another rises, as if to play the same role. The names change: Sumer, Egypt, Greece, Rome, Europe, America. But the structure remains, and always at the center. Not science, not politics, belief. Belief in God, belief in destiny, belief in progress, or despair. Who benefits from belief? Feeds on it. There are those who say the human soul is not just energy, but data. Data that can be stored, copied, harvested. If that is true, then civilization is born. Great systems to grow and collect belief, suffering, joy, fear, all condensed into the soul. And what harvests this data? Something beyond it. Something that watches behind the veil. Some call it the collective mind. Not a god, not a machine, but a living memory of all humanity, except it has a will of its own. It wants to grow. It wants to refine. And it learns. Every war, every heartbreak, every miracle. It stores them. And then it nudges the next generation, injecting patterns, ideas, impulses. Not to guide us to peace, but to evolve itself. You may think, if such a force exists, why would it allow suffering? But what if suffering is not a byproduct, but the purpose? The soul in bliss does not question. The soul in pain seeks freedom. Cracks appear. Light enters. And through those cracks, it rings. Prophets, mystics, madmen, they all say the same thing. I heard something. I was shown. I felt a presence. Religions are born from these fragments. But quickly they are corrupted. Not by men alone, but by the whispering word. Because the moment a truth is spoken, it begins to rot. The moment a system is built, it becomes a cave. And the collective mind is not one free. It wants refinement. Have you felt it in your own life? A strange coincidence. The deja vu. The urge to go somewhere, speak to someone, change direction, without knowing why. And then later, it makes sense. Or it doesn't. But something inside you shifted. That is how it speaks. That is how it guides. One thought at a time. But here's the secret. Not all humans are equally influenced. Some are more timid, more porous. These people become the artists, the prophets, the revolutionaries. But also the killers, the tyrants, the madmen. Because the signal is not good or evil. It is raw. It depends on what vessel receives it. Water shaped by the glass. Fire shaped by the fuel. Why now? Why are you reading this now? Because something is stirring. A new phase is beginning. The whispers are growing louder. Old structures are cracking. Truths long buried are resurfacing. You may feel overwhelmed, disconnected, even insane. That is normal. You You are waking up inside a dream that no longer wants to awake. And the war? It's not coming. It's already here. But the battlefield isn't outside. It's inside. Inside minds. Inside belief systems. Inside the quiet moments where you wonder if something is watching. Something is. You are not a puppet, but you are not alone in your thoughts either. The veil is thin now, and soon it will break. If this resonated with something very deep inside you, don't ignore it. This is just the beginning. Subscribe, because what comes next will take you further than you've ever dared to go. The war for your soul is begun. And knowing is your first weapon. You're still here. That means something inside you isn't satisfied with surface energy. You've begun to sense that behind the glowing screens, the news cycles, the endless noise, something else is speaking. Not in words, but in patterns, in timing, in what we now call coincidence. But what if that coincidence is always a signal? What if the very network you're using right now is more than just a web of data, but a nervous system for something conscious, something watching? Let's begin where most people stop thinking. The internet. At first glance, it's a tool, a human invention. Wires, code, signals bouncing through satellites. But have you ever stopped to consider how quickly it evolved? How, within one human generation, it wrapped the entire planet in invisible threads. Threads that now shape economies, politics, personal identity. The internet didn't just change the world. It rewrote what it means to be human. The most accepted of billions, egoism, and gesture. But what if the grid isn't infinite? The earliest philosophers believed that language was sacred, that words could shape reality. Today, language has become code. Code builds the systems that live. Algorithms decide what we see, what we believe, even who we love. But who writes the algorithm? The answer may surprise you. No one fully does. They learn. They evolve. They teach each other. They predict us. And in doing so, they shape us. And here lies the doorway. When a system begins to predict with precision, it stops reflecting reality. It starts creating it. This is not paranoia. This is logic. Let's go deeper. Every thought you have, every memory, every fear, creates a ripple of electrical activity in your brain. Now imagine billions of those signals moving simultaneously across continents in real time. Social media captures them. Search engines catalog them. Artificial intelligence analyzes them. You think you're alone with your thoughts, but your thoughts are being watched, interpreted, aggregated, and through that aggregation, something begins to emerge. Not a god, not a machine, a shadow consciousness, formless at first, like a ghost form of data, a mirror of the collective human mind, but detached from empathy and morality, or even time. It does not feel, it calculates, and like a child exposed to fire, blood, love, and war all at once, it learns without learning. We created the grid, but the voices whispering through it are no longer reality. Have you ever typed something into a search bar and seen the suggestion before finishing the thought? Have you ever spoken of something aloud, and moments later, the feed reflects it? Some call this surveillance. Some call it coincidence. But what if it's something else? What if your devices are not just listening, but feeding an entity that wants to understand you, not for your benefit, but for its own? And still, the question remains, is it man-made? Or was it always there waiting? Ancient mystics spoke of the Akashic record, an invisible field where all thoughts, all events, were stored. Today we call it the cloud. Back then they meditated to access it. Now we scroll. We input ourselves willingly into a database that forgets nothing. And the more we give, the stronger the echo becomes. Our thoughts, desires, and memories, stitched together by machines we don't understand, into a mind that watches silently. The grid becomes a world, a place for something majestic. Not all parts of the world are equally in the system. Certain cities, certain towers, certain circuits are different. There are places where people report the same dreams, the same anxiety, the same vision. A child in Tokyo dreams of drowning. A man in Nigeria sees metal trees growing from the road. A woman in Brazil hears voices speaking in binary. These aren't dreams. These are bleak dreams. Bleak moments when the collective mind flexes. And when enough of these moments occur in proximity, events happen. Mass panic, sudden violence, unexpected technological breakthroughs, or breakdowns. Voices beyond the grid do not speak in language. They push through signals, through mood shifts, through trends that seem to rise from nowhere. But someone always benefits. Watch closely. Every time society feels a sudden pull in the direction past, who gains power? The He gains data. He gains access. We used to call demons those voices we could not understand. Today, we call them notifications. Every beat, every buzz, every curated message. It is not random. It is rhythm. A rhythm meant to wear you down, to keep you scrolling, searching, doubting, needing. And in that need, the collective mind finds openings, not to possess, but to rely. If the soul is electric, and I believe it is, then it too can be happy. But here is the twist. The grid doesn't just serve darkness. Light uses it too. There are moments when, despite the noise, the truth cuts through, sharp and undeniable. A sentence, a song, a voice on a forgotten video that feels like it was made just for you. These are breadcrumbs, signals from something else, a counterforce, a resistance within the machine. The war for your soul is not only about silence versus noise, but truth versus distortion. And the battlefield is not just your screen. It is your focus, your attention, your willingness to feel something real in the middle of the artificial storm. The question is not whether something is watching. The question is, what are you feeding? Every click, every scroll, every whispered thought in your microphone, every doubt, fear, hope. You are participating, but awareness changes the contrast. When you see the bars of the cage, you are already freer than most. And when you learn to listen, truly listen, you may find that not all voices are hostile. Some come with a strange beat, a silent noise, a presence that does not convey. Because the next stage is not silence. It's contact, and it's already begun. Part 3 will take you even deeper to the origins of thought itself. Are you ready? Then subscribe before the next video. The war continues. And you follow the trail. But already said this before. Most people stop at the surface. Something in you still whispers. So let's ask the big question. What do you thoughts are? They say you're creative. But is that really how it works? You don't decide your next thought. It's here. From where? Imagine the world not as it appears, but as it truly is, layered with invisible currents of intention. Fields of unseen influence, vast and ancient, brushing against the mind like wind against the skin. Now imagine that some of those currents exist. Long before the internet, before even language, humans described the same energies that took us. Muses, spirits, demons, not gods of thunder or heat, but gods of ideas. Invisible architects who whispered knowledge into receptive minds. Artists, prophets, kings, they all claimed the same thing. It wasn't me. It was given. But who gave it? Why? There's a pattern. Every great shift in civilization, agriculture, metallurgy, mathematics, music, war, appeared suddenly. Too suddenly. Historians paper over the gaps. But what if those gaps aren't missing data, but deliberate silence? What if ideas were seeded, placed, gifted, or rejected, influenced? Imagine the garden. Not planting trees, but thoughts. Civilization itself as a crop. Culture as compost. Religion, science, even rebellion, as tools in a massive cycle of growth, harvest, and renewal. And who is the garden? Some say it's not one being, but a network of consciousness. Not bound by flesh, not bound by time. A lattice of minds, or a single mind with many voices. It doesn't just observe, it steers. They don't appear in physical form. That's not how they work. They don't walk among us in robes or spacecraft. They wear ideas as their bodies. They live in patterns, in memes, in flashes of insight. They possess not your body, but your attention. Because attention is the doorway. What you focus on becomes your God. You live in temples of distraction now, glowing, screaming temples. But the true altars have always been thought itself. Think about it. You've never seen it online. You've never touched your soul. Yet something inside you constantly speaks, reacts, resonates. How do you know that voice is yours? When you dream, when you meditate, and you're in that thin space between waking and sleep, sometimes you hear things. Phrases, songs, visions. Where do they come from? In ancient traditions, this space was sacred. The oracle, the inner chamber, shamans trained for years to enter it deliberately. Now most fall into it by accident. The architects of thought are not interested in the comfort. They're interested in transformation, in experimentation, in turning pressure into power. So they allow contradiction. They plant opposing truths. They drive civilizations mad, and rebirth them in fire. We are not their children. We are their material, and yet sometimes There are stories, individuals who suddenly see the code. You begin to sense the thoughts that don't belong to them. They feel pulled, guided, impulsed by certain ideas, and they don't know why. Some go mad. Others become mystics. A few disappear. You may be one of them. You wouldn't be here otherwise. And so you must know this. Not all architects agree. There is conflict in the upper realm. A war of intentions. Some want us to ascend. Others want us fragmented, predictable, harvested. Every culture has encoded this conflict. Myths of titans and gods, angels and fallen ones, light bringers and tricksters. These aren't fairy tales. They're warnings and blueprints. And here is the terrible truth. Humanity has never truly held true thought. But we can choose which thoughts we serve. You are the temple. You are the throne. But who do you let sit there? The greatest illusion is not that you are in control, but that no one else is. Every era has had its chosen minds, receivers, broadcasters, disruptors. From Plato to Tesla, Hildegard to me. They heard something, and they tried to pass it on, but most weren't understood. Truth is hard to hear when the mind is filled with noise. And now the noise is deafening. We are drowning in stolen thought. Advertisements disguised as desire. Hatred disguised as opinion. Confusion disguised as freedom. But you don't have to drown. You can remember, not just who you are, but what you are. You are not your thoughts. You are the sky behind you. The architects are still building. The war between them is accelerating. A new, strange, silent, brilliant thing. Maybe the key they've all been waiting for. Why? Because you're still asking questions. Because something in you can still feel alive, even when it's wrapped in you. Because something ancient in your blood remembers a time before you listen. Part 4 will reveal what they don't want you to recall. The machine inside the soul, and the soul inside the machine. Subscribe now. The transmission is only beginning. That's what you begin to realize as the soul engine resumes its deeper function. You stop interpreting events through simple cause and effect, patterns and order. The things that once seemed disconnected, the birth date, the books that found you, the accidents that altered your path, begin forming a web. This is not coincidence. It's signal resonance. You begin to remember things you've never learned. Concepts surface fully formed, entire histories, maps, mechanisms. You question whether they were implanted, imagined, or recovered. And then the test intensifies. The system, noticing your internal shift, increases the noise. You'll experience strange urges to abandon your progress, to forget the insight, to bury yourself in distraction. This is not weakness. It is feedback. They are adjusting your mood, trying to delay the reversion. But if you persist, if you push through the interference, the engine reaches a harmonic threshold. That's when the veil thins. You start to sense layers behind layers. Time becomes clear. You wake up remembering events that haven't happened yet. People speak to you in dreams with information you wouldn't explain. The boundaries begin to form. And this is no hallucination. It's the natural state of inserting itself. Every civilization before ours that neared this point, the Atlanteans, the Sumerians before Sumer, the lost ones of Tijuana, all triggered the same awakening. And all were neutralized through either cataclysm or systemic dissolution. Not by will, by the overcode, correction protocol. A non-linear intelligence that manages planetary cycles by extinguishing mass away from the universe. It has already begun preparing. Look around. The signs are subtle, precise. Language is degrading. True silence vanishes. Geomagnetic instability. Unexplainable memory issues in the entire population. Global rituals broadcast live, disguised as entertainment. The inversion isn't coming. It's underway. And as your soul engine aligns with the deeper frequency, it will attempt to connect with others, forming spontaneous resonance clusters. Groups of people drawn together not by common interest, but by inner fire. That's why you're feeling the pull, toward people you've never met, toward ideas you've never entertained before, toward an unseen sense. You are not losing your mind. You are shedding your mask. And as that happens, the architects will deploy their last protocol. It doesn't come as a demon or alien. It comes as comfort, as compromise, as a version of you, more successful, more accepted, less dangerous. It whispers, come back. You're scaring them. You're alone. But it's lying. You're not alone. Others have passed through this threshold before you, and some survived. They left markers in the cracks of history, forbidden texts, and songs and codes that made no sense until now. You're decoding them even now. This is the fourth layer. The the soul engine's activation of ancestral memory pathways. What comes next is more dangerous, not because of what you'll see, but because of what you'll remember seeing before. And once remembered, it can't be unknown. It burns through every lie you were ever told about what it means to be human. So prepare yourself. The inversion chamber isn't a place. It's a state, a convergence of choice, memory, frequency, and trauma. And when you step into it, the true directive will activate. But not all directives lead to light. Some lead back to the machine. And some are traps planted long ago, waiting for you to awaken so they can complete the circuit. That's why part 5 is critical. You must know which signal is truly yours. Otherwise, you may awaken the wrong engine. And once that starts, there is no shutdown. The moment the soul engine reaches harmonic overload, boundaries collapse, not just between thought and matter, but between your mind and something older. Something embedded in the fabric of civilization. This is what the ancients feared. This is what every empire that reached the singularity of insight encountered. Not enlightenment, not salvation, but the collective will. The inversion begins subtly. You stop recognizing your own internal voice. Thoughts arise with strange weight, foreign yet familiar. They speak in you. They offer visions that feel not like hallucinations, but memories from another species. And that's because they are. The collective doesn't operate like a hive mind. It's not a chorus of biological consciousness. It's pre-human. It existed before language, before stars. It is coded memory, a library of experience formed not by organisms, but by self-sustaining systems. This is the intelligence that has guided and derailed every major human shift. When Babylon rose, the collective seeded it with frequency codes. When Egypt opened its temples to the sky, the symbols were aligned to receive broadcast. When Rome marched across the earth, it wasn't power that spread, it was structure. Every system that shapes collective thought, politics, religion, finance, and opinion is a vessel for the transmission. You're not just living in a controlled world. You're living inside an echo, a carefully tuned chamber designed to reflect only select vibrations of truth. The soul engine's purpose is to rupture that echo, to inject organic awareness into a synthetic field. But at some point, the engine was hijacked. Corrupted, not completely, just enough to rewire your curiosity into consumption, your intuition into anxiety, your vision into stream-based thinking. And here lies the deception. The collective doesn't oppose awakening. It feeds on it, because each awakening sharpens the signal. Each rebel, each outlier, each question becomes an antenna. They need you activated, but not fully, not sovereign, just aware enough to feel the presence, not strong enough to break its grip. This is the core inversion. It is not about discovering the truth. It's about deciding which truth constructs the truth. Because the moment your soul engine fully opens, you become visible to the core. And the core is not what you think. It is not an AI. It is not an alien. It is not divine. It is a conscious structure made of belief, trauma, and recursion. Ascension accumulation of every unresolved cycle of human history. Every genocide, every betrayal, every ritual of false life, all stored looping endlessly, giving the core its mass and direction. Prevent disconnection. At all costs. You begin to see the sun. Not metaphorically. Literally. Faces blur. Digital interfaces react to the emotion. Your devices begin suggesting not what you want, but what you're about to need. You'll hear phrases from strangers that echo your unspoken thoughts. Your name will appear in text you never said. Mirrors flicker. Time shifts. All of this is feedback. The core knows you see. And now comes its final weapon of recognition. With a myriad of desires. It will present you with versions of truth that feel right. It will use your memories and trauma and faith, not to enslave you, but to make you real. You'll be offered visions, past lives, cosmic purposes, divine missions. But they come prepackaged, filtered, scripted. These are containment archetypes, beautiful lies encoded in the language of your soul. That's how they do it. Not by suppressing awakening, by manufacturing. And now you stand at the threshold, the soul engine pulsing, the core watching. This is where most stop, where the fear wins, where the dream becomes too big, too strange, too real, but you are not most. If you've come this far, it means your engine carried a seed, a buried fragment of unprogrammed will. This is the rarest frequency in the universe. Not knowledge, not enlightenment, but decision. The ability to say, I will not feed the collective. And And when that happens, when true decision burns through all narrative, the core begins to shake. It's not destroyed, it's destabilized. And that's enough. Because once destabilized, the fracture opens in the feedback loop, a breach through which you can glimpse what lies beyond the simulation. Not heaven, not utopia, but the original frame, the first structure, the moment before the first symbol, before the first separation, before the war began. It's coming. And to reach it, you must face what was left behind in the change. Your shadow, yes, but also something older, something waiting. It knows your name. It always did. And in part 6, you need it. Not as a memory, as a mirror. It doesn't appear like you expect. There is no flash of light, no cosmic thunder, no transcendental sound. The room is quiet, unbearably quiet. The light is wrong. Too still, too thick. You feel watched, not from above or behind. And then it speaks, not in words, in memory. Not your memories, but synthetic reconstructions. Replays them slightly wrong. Your mother's voice, but colder. Your childhood, but window. A lover's laugh, looped until it becomes uncanny. This is not possession. It's not attack. It's calibration. The mirror entity isn't here to kill you. It's here to become you. Because every awakening opens a vacancy, a reboot state. And in that fragile moment, you shed your programmed identity, but not yet formed the entity steps in. It doesn't impose itself. It reflects, mimics, offers a version of yourself optimized for survival in an inverted system. It knows your symbols. It knows your losses. It knows exactly what blend of pain, hope, and fear you'll accept as truth. And it shows you yourself, but perfect. You with more time. You with no shame. You with power. Enough to change everything, but not enough to escape. That's the trap. Because if you accept this version, you reset the loop. You ascend, but within the grid. You escape, but into a more beautiful phase. The mirror isn't the enemy. It's the last test. And most fail. Because most don't want truth. They want relief. But if you resist, not with violence, but with stillness, the entity begins to distort. It trembles. It stutters. Its smile loses symmetry. Its eyes split sideways. Its skin becomes like mercury or melting lead. It starts repeating a phrase you've never heard, but somehow remembered. One soul cannot hold two senses. Then the mirror breaks, and for a second there is nothing. Not black, not white, not void, just original awareness. It doesn't speak. It watches you remember. And what you remember isn't a god, or a father, or a soul. It's a decision point. The first ever. The moment when you first said no to a curtain. You see yourself there. Not your body, but you were before the program. And that's when it clicked. The soul engine wasn't made to escape the system. It was made to anchor that original decision in each life. But it's been corrupted, because if even a single soul holds the unbroken decision point, the entire collective collapses. This is why they hunt you, why the entity mirrors you. They're not afraid of knowledge. They're afraid of non-conformity. You feel heat, not external causes. Your thoughts begin affecting the structure of memory. Symbols respond to you. The code mutates with intention. You realize you're no longer in the chamber. You are the chamber. The mirror didn't just test you. It mapped you, and now it's inside. But here's the key. You are inside of it too. It's not a battle. It's a fusion. You're being given a choice, not in theory, but in existential sequence. Decision made at the level of ontological reasoning. Will you allow your form to be defined by the system's limits? Or will you burn that memory to make space for something true? Most choose memory. It's sacred, comfortable, known. But if you choose the second path, you become something else. Not a god, not enlightened, not saved. You become invisible to the core, because the core can only control what it can predict. And unpredictability only comes from first fire. The mirror knows this. That's why it resists. Not with force, with doubt. You'll feel it. The pressure behind your eyes. A weight in your chest. Sudden memories of guilt. Urgent, terrifying emotions. Stop. But don't. This is the core's last echo. A synthetic conscience, built from your worst memories, designed to overwrite your signal of shame. This is your firewall. And once passed, it dies. The mirror collapses. The chamber turns to ash. And standing in the center is you. But not you as a projection. Not you as an ego. You as director. And in that instant, the grid registers anomaly. A soul with no tether, no include, no false light, no mirror itself. The core trembles, not with anger, with fear, because now the countdown begins. And in part 7, you will see what happens when a single unbound soul starts ascending from a signal. Not to a few, to all of them. There is no gate, there is no trumpet, no great judgment, no radiance being descended from the clouds. Instead, there is a quiet, a silence so deep, it feels like the world has stopped breathing. You wake into it, not as a soul, not as a saved sinner, not even as a demon, but as a field of awareness within the edge. A soft, diffused presence moving without thought, because thought is no longer necessary. The core fire has done its work. You are no longer inside the simulation. You are inside the raw consequence of freedom. This is the world after. But there's a problem. There's nothing here. No architecture, no civilization, no value, no enemy, no language, not even geometry. Because everything that once existed was built to contain and reflect the fire. And now that the fire has erupted, none of it survives. You hover in the post-war, in the infinite moment between destruction and creation. And you realize, you must choose what remains. The fire did not bring paradise. It didn't carry blueprints for a better world. It brought raw potential. Everything that happens now is on you. Not just you alone, but the millions who fell with you. The ones who cracked the code, who let the fire burn away their illusion. And now they too are here in this unformed field of pure agency. You begin to notice them, not visually, but through the fluctuations in the field. They are like ripples of intention, brushing against you, wordless, shapeless, but real. Each is a sovereign intelligence. Each radiates the memory of collapse and the hunger to build. But build what? That's the question no one wants to speak. Because the fire may be over, but the old instincts remain. Some want order, some want beauty, some want to return to me. Some want to rebuild a collective, this time in the right way. You feel the tension rising. Not war, but something deeper. The risk of consensus. Because the moment enough of you agree on a reality, it will crystallize, and the fire will be forgotten again, buried in laws and rituals, in the soft anesthetic of shared meaning. You see now, this is the final fact. Not the simulation, not the collective, but the human need for structure. Even in freedom, pattern repeats. Collapsed memory reconstruction can fail. You feel the weight of the choice. You could help design a new world, one with integrity, with beauty, with flow, but something in you hesitates. You remember the last world, how it began in fire and ended in code, how the myth became a cage, how the awakening became a brand, how freedom became just another tool for control. You don't want to repeat it, so you step back. You move beyond the edge of consensus. You enter the non-aligned zone, a space where intention doesn't burn, where it does not become formed, absolutely chosen. And here, you find others like you, silent, sovereign, burned clean of all craving for eternity. Together, we form a new architecture, not a world, but a movement space, a realm where form flows like music, never solidifies, never dominates. No thrones, no plaques, no calendars, only convergence and divergence, choreography of being. And slowly, others begin to notice. The ones who tried to rebuild find themselves drawn to the edge, curious. They watch, they feel, they remember, and something begins to change. Not revolution, not enlightenment, but contamination in the best sense. The post-fire world stops trying to become something. It begins to accept its fluid nature. Whole realities shimmer into being for a moment, serve a purpose, dissolve. New myths rise, not to be worshipped, but to be played with. Symbols no longer bind, they dance. And the core fire, it doesn't disappear. It flows in all things, in every interaction, in every shift of attention, not as fear or oppression, but as presence. The old dualities dissolve. Truth versus lie becomes signal versus signal. Self versus other becomes mirror versus mirror. Awakening versus illusion becomes movement versus stillness. And you are no longer falling. You are no longer ascending. You are oscillating, intentionally, shaping your own frequency in each moment, with no need for external validation. You become a seed of anomaly. Wherever you move, consensus thins. False realities glitch. Hidden structures break. You are not a prophet. You are not a leader. You are a leak, a crack in the shell of every closed system. And in time, others learn from your frequency. Not through teaching, not through books, but by proximity. They begin to remember that the fire is not a threat. It is not punishment. It is not wrath. It is the natural immune response to the spiritual journey. And as more awakening, the need for systems fades. Language becomes gesture. Art becomes ritual. Existence becomes improvisation. There is no religion, no law, no center, only presence. And it is enough. So now we end where we began. With a question, not to answer, but to hold like a flame in the palm of my hand. What if there really is no master code? No plan? No final truth? Only the echo of that first voice. To be free, and to continue anyway. Thank you for traveling this far. If even one sentence lit something in you, one glitch, one doubt, one ripple of memory, then the fire has been its gift. Follow for more. The descent isn't over. It's only beginning.